Hey guys, in this tutorial we will do some bug fixing. We will start by fixing the errors that we have here. Well, they're not errors, but they're warnings because they're yellow. This first one, the argument delta, is never used in the function physics process. This one is easy to fix. We just need to add a prefix before delta and that one's gone. The next one, the function reload current scene returns a value. Well, we're not gonna use this return value, so there's no point storing it in a variable, so let's just ignore this one. Cool. Now if we run the game, we're not gonna get any more warnings. The next thing I wanna look at is, I realized when we die, and if we die on a pipe, we still score, but we don't want that. Let me just show you real quick. See, I died and my score should be 1, but a score signal was emitted when it shouldn't. So let's go inside the obstacle scene. And in here, what happens is we score once the player exits the score area. But if we die on top of it, we can't exit from the right side, but we still exit from the bottom because it's very short. The fix is very easy. We just need to select the collision shape 2D of the score area and make it taller. And this much should be fine. Now if we play and we die on top of a pipe, we didn't score. So yeah, that's the fix. Okay, cool. The next thing I want to look at is, well, there are some impossible situations in the game right now. Sometimes we'll get a pipe that's very low near the bottom and the next pipe is very high. But our bird right now can't flap high enough in a single flap to reach that. So we need to increase the flap force of the player. And at the same time, sometimes we get a pipe that's very high and the next pipe is very low and the player can't really fall fast enough because the gravity isn't strong enough. So let's first fix the gravity because the gravity is going to affect the flap force. And we don't want to change flap force first because we're gonna have to do some adjustments if we change it first. Let's look at the start method. We're setting the gravity scale here and let's just set it to 10. Now if you play the game, you're gonna realize that we can't nearly flap as high enough and we fall much faster, which is what we want. Let me just turn down the volume a bit. Okay. Now we want to set the flap force to something higher, like 340. Now if you play, we can flap much higher in a single flap. And let's see if we can get a scenario like this. See? It was very easy for me to reach that. And like this one. Before we couldn't have done the sequence that I just got. Okay, cool. We got that, and the next thing I want to look at is the pipes, the walls. Their collision shape is too short. Because what will happen is if we start flapping and at the start and we flap enough times, we can go over the obstacle and just keep going like that. Let me show you. So I'm just gonna flap like crazy at the start. And as you can see, I'm over the game basically, just scrolling through. We don't want this either, so this is also very easy to fix. We just need to go inside the wall, get the collision shape, and make it much taller. Like this. Let's position it like it used to be. Okay. This should fix it. and inside the obstacle you can see that it's a much bigger obstacle to go over. Let's test this. I'm gonna start flapping like crazy. I still die. Nice. The final thing I want to look at isn't necessarily a problem, but I just think that right now the player, when it's falling down, isn't rotating fast enough. So I would like the player to reach the maximum rotation faster. And that's why I'm gonna set its angular velocity once it starts falling to 5 instead of 3. And this way it's gonna look much more like the original game. Awesome. We did some bug fixing and some improvements to our game in this episode. Our game is basically done. Like I said, we're not gonna add anything else. And in the next episode, I'm gonna talk about what you might want to do next and my future plans. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.